thank you guys for showing up today to the 5th or 6th ChrisTalk. And today we're going to be talking about my book, The Vulgar Truth Diet, How to Fix Your Spine. So I'm not going to be talking about me the whole entire time. It's going to be about my book, so I won't bore you. A little background about myself. I have a degree in kinesiology from Chico, also University of Connecticut. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Owner of the awesome Show Up Fitness. When in doubt, you just need to show up. And author of The Vulgar Truth Diet. So we're going to take a look at the next page, so you just kind of follow around. And the first page of my book, it was kind of a controversy, because people, when they read it, the first thing it says is, if I offend anyone with my vulgarity or lascivious behavior, I apologize. Actually, I don't. Go fuck yourself. My grandpa always told me, be yourself, Chris. Vaya con Dios. And I was actually going back and forth with one of my editors, and she's like, you can take that out. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's my book. I can do whatever I want. And the purpose of, if you turn to the next page, the purpose of the book, these are some things that kind of inspired me. Not penises, but this is from, anyone know what movie that's from? Superbad. Superbad, there you go. I remember watching that movie. And that scene when he got in trouble, and they're showing all the pictures and when he got in trouble, I was just laughing hysterically. Just for the fact of just the comedy aspect from it. You know, penises are funny, vaginas are funny, boobs are funny, sexuality is funny. And that's kind of the approach that I took with my book. Have you ever heard of Tucker Max?
Tucker? Yeah. I hope they serve beer in hell.
Yeah.
Hell
Tucker
yeah.
Max. You love that book. He's about a king. He's about a 5 foot tall, in my opinion, douchebag. And he was able to write a very, very successful book about his stories in his life, where he went out there and just did some very rude things to women. And he made a ton of money on it. And I was just like, you know, this guy's this douchebag. And he was able to tell you stories about just basically hooking up with chicks. People loved it. You know, who's read it in here? Who liked it? Everyone got a little, some people liked it, so it's like, it's pretty crazy. And so I was like, okay,
it's
well,
college.
It is college, but it kind of got my wheels a spin. But the real reason, one day, one of my trainers came up to me and said, can you read this book? One of my clients gave it to me. I want your feedback on it. And the book, I forget the name of it, that's how good it was. But I read it and I told him, this was crap. It was horrible, boring. There's nothing informative about it. This is the information that people are getting. Now, the purpose of my book isn't to be a textbook, but when it comes to fitness, people are really, you know, they have their mindsets. And I don't think that fitness should be so negative. I think it should be fun. I think when you learn about fitness, you should have fun learning about it. And that's why I love the penises, because you learn something about fitness, you look down and you kind of get, everyone, half the people in here are giggling. So you giggle about it, and you're like, okay, that's kind of funny, it's kind of sticking in my mind. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Half the people who probably buy it are like, oh my God, this guy's a pervert. Well, that may be true, but you know, it's to get people kind of laughing a little bit. So the book is based off of what I developed. It's called the S.P.I.N.E. And the S.P.I.N.E. stands for 7 different things. The S stands for sex, sleep, stress, psychology, injuries, nutrition, and exercise. And for the longest time, I'll get to that in a second actually, but if you address your spine, what's going to happen is you're a lot more likely to maximize fat loss. Too many times today, people only look at it as exercise or nutrition. And so let's go to the next page. How do you fix your spine? That's the important thing. And again, I hammer this down a lot. This is an acronym that I helped develop with my dad, who's a psychologist. I worked with some physical therapists and nutritionists. You know, over 69% of Americans overweight. How ironic is that actually came out this year, but in 2015, 69% of Americans will be overweight. And how do you fix that? And when I was in college and right when I graduated, I thought it was pretty simple. Fat loss and weight loss was a bicycle, where both tires didn't need to be optimally full, meaning that you didn't have to have awesome nutrition and awesome exercise. You could have just one or the other, doing pretty well, and you could achieve your goal. You want to know that basketball player is right there? Ben Gordon. He's considered the top 10 best athletes. Top 10 most in shape athletes in the NBA. He went to UConn. I remember walking next to him. Man, I'm at 6'4". I'm like, Ben, you're not 6'4". He's 6'2". And my cowboy boots were the same height. But guy's insane shape. He ripped, 6-pack. maybe 5% body fat. You can bench 225, probably 30 plus times. Guy was in insane shape. Watch his diet every morning. I was one of those creepy guys that love the basketball players, so I always sit next to him in the hall and watch him, listen to the assistants talking to him. But always checking out his diet. He ate like crap. Fruit Loops, fruit punch, pizza, spaghetti, all the time he ate like crap. But the guy was a freaking statue. Why was that? Exercising all the time. And is he exercising an hour a day? No. Those guys are waking up at 5 a.m., they're doing 9 a.m. practices, they're doing a 1 p.m. workout, they're doing a 4 p.m. practice. They're working out all the damn time. And so that helps kind of support my idea that I used to think that it's only exercise and nutrition. And here's my, I call him my redneck roommate up in the Bay Area, this is Jackson. And he also has kind of a good success story. When he started training with me, he's like 225 pounds. Big guy. Started working out with me 3 to 4 times a week. Simple stuff. Bench press, deadlifts, back squats, lat pull downs, presses. Guy lost probably about 20, 25 pounds in about 3 months. Notorious after our workouts, we would walk home, back pocket, get his chew out, put a chew in, go home, have a couple beers. Didn't change his nutrition at all. What did he change? Just exercise more. And so, again, interesting viewpoint that just by exercising you can get in better shape. And so we're going to get into a couple reasons why it's not just exercise and nutrition, but I don't want you guys to get bored. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to stand up. Now, if you want to take your shoes off, that's fine. If you don't have to. I'm going to take my boots off just to go over how we can optimize our spine. What I mean by that is there's 5 things that I suggest for all people that you can do just to put your body in opportunistic movement pattern. The first thing we do, starting with the most inferior part, is looking at our feet. And if your feet are on the ground, we should have 3 checkpoints. Our big toe, our pinky, and our heel. We should pretend like we're palming the ground. Palming the ground, not grasping it, you're just palming it. And so when we're constantly squeezing the ground like that, you might feel your inner thigh hurt a little bit. You feel it not hurt, but it gets engaged, and also your butt gets engaged. That's optimal foot mechanics right there. We should be doing that all the time, but we have a filter in our shoes and we lose that. And so that's one of the first things that we can do to start with our optimal movement patterns. Second one is our chest and how we should be standing. This one's always a creepy one. So I want you to put your hands straight out. Don't push anyone. There you go. Nice. Who dropped the drink? There you go. Come back here, 90 degrees. We're going to externally rotate all the way up. Come down. And here. This is optimal chest mechanics right here. This is how we should be standing. This feels awkward. I feel like Joe wants to fight me right now. You know, he's sticking his chest out like, what's up, man? What's going on? This doesn't feel right, but this is right. This is how we should be standing the whole entire time. Next one's breathing. And you can do a quick little breathing test by putting one hand on your arm. Let's put our hand on our partner's chest. I'm just joking. Don't get too excited. One hand here, one hand on your stomach. And you're going to take just 2 really, really, really big deep breaths. Apple cider, whiskey, more. What hand should be moving?
Bottom.
Bottom hand. If our upper hand is breathing, that means we're a chest breather. That means we're going to be prone to headaches. It means we're going to be prone to upper cross syndrome, tightness in our chest. Our pec minor right here can be overactive. How do we fix that? We'll talk about that a little bit. Next one's my favorite, glutes. When in doubt, go to the glutes. Now, you're going to be able to check your partners out in front of you. I want you to be able to, ready? Check this out. Boom! Squeeze this up. You wink at everyone.
The wink.
The wink. Yeah, finally see? That's optimal glute activation. Practice a couple of those. It's not twerking. That's a little different. Now, twerking is...
We don't want to see Chris.
You just squeeze your glutes in. And this is getting oxygen to our glutes. I'll say hump the air. If you have a belt or something here, it's going to come up to your face. Kiss your face. And by doing that, you're just getting oxygen into your glutes. Our glutes are stereotypically really, really weak. We need to strengthen them. And last but not least is our core. We forget how to use our core. And what you do for that is you tighten everything up. If your partner, if I was going to come over here and punch you real quick or jab you, tighten up. Tighten up the whole entire thing. The whole entire thing should be nice and hard from your belly button all the way to your back. That's called bracing. And those are the 5 checkpoints that you can start to implement daily just to work with optimal mechanics. All right, take a seat. We got some oxygen to our head now. Do I really need my boots? I guess I don't. Not your boots. Boots. I'm short. Alright, you know how it feels, Joe. Just
Merry Christmas, Joe.
But then you have some other individuals. So I talked about my roommate, talked about athletes. These guys are working out all the time. They're not changing much of nutrition. But then what about certain competitors? Bikini competitors, figure competitors, endurance athletes, notorious for having spirit tires around the midsection. Or there's also a client I'm going to talk about. So I was working with prepping a girl for a show, and her workouts were insane. She was working out 5, 6, 7 times a week. She was doing a ton of cardio. She was working out really well. Her nutrition was pretty much spot on with a few cheats here and there. But she wasn't losing the weight. She wasn't getting to where I wanted her to be. Her face started getting a little bigger. She started showing more fat around her stomach. What's going on? There's something else besides exercise and nutrition. So it starts getting me thinking, well, what could it be? Talking to her a little bit more, find out her mom's going through chemo. She's not sleeping very well. So stress levels are through the roof. And also her sleep's jacked up. Well, we're told that you exercise harder, you eat less, you're going to get the results. Well, for her, it was the exact opposite. Interesting. Then you have endurance athletes. These guys are going, these girls are hundreds of miles in the weekend, but a lot of them don't have that jacked six-pack like sprinters do. They're doing a ton of workouts, and their their nutrition could be spot on, but they don't have that six-pack. Why is that? Again, looking at hormonal levels and stress, and when we put the body through a gamut of cardio for hours on out, we produce a ton of cortisol, we store a lot of fat in our stomach. And then last but not least, there was a client who we were training, and this is one of my favorite. She's a liquor rep. Trained her 6 times a week, she was loaded. She had the best job ever. She just drank all day. I can't beat that. But she'd literally go to bars, and she would just drink, and she would interact with the bartenders and stuff. And so she was drinking all the time. She wasn't sleeping very much, but she was exercising all the time with us, and she was also, her nutrition was pretty much spot on. She started gaining weight a lot as well. And then I talked to her a little bit more about some events that are coming up, and this just couldn't grasp it at all. She was getting married. I'm like, yeah, fine. She's like, I hate my fiance. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? How's that happen? You're getting married, but you hate your partner you're about to be with. That's crazy. Ton of stress, not sleeping well because of the alcohol, exercising all the time, nutrition's jacked up. So what happened to her? She put on a ton of weight, and we actually had a medical intervention with her. We had to get her to a doctor to work with adrenal fatigue because she was so messed up. She was constantly in a fight or flight state. So we got the S.P.I.N.E questionnaire, and what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to go over a little role play. We're going to use your S.P.I.N.E sheet. So, yep, it's your time to shine. It's your 15 minutes of fame right here, bud. Very cool, man. So I'm going to put you on the spot. So I'm always going to sit down. You can enjoy yourself. You can still drink your stuff, but I'm going to go over a S.P.I.N.E questionnaire with Mr. Jace right here. Jace. So, Jace, I'm going to sit here. We're going to go over...
What's up, man? I'm Jace. Nice to meet you.
Nice. That's a good handshake.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we're going to go over the 30 questions that I designed, not just for myself, but also with my dad, who's a psychologist, and some other professionals in the field, to where I felt the 30 best questions to help determine the likelihood for fat loss. Now, are these the 30 best questions? In my opinion, they're good. They could always be better, and I'm going to try to make them better by consulting with other people. So these are the 30 that I have right now. So the first part of the spine has the normal spine has with the anatomy. There's 3 curves, cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. There's 3 parts of this spine, and I break it up into S.P.I., which is your stress, your sleep, your sex, and psychology. And then the second group of the spine is going to be nutrition, the last one is going to be exercise. So if you're uncomfortable by any of the questions, which I'm sure you're not.
No, I took a look.
Okay, yeah. You sleep between 8 and 10 hours a night?
Generally, yes, I actually do. It's something I strive for.
Okay.
Usually between 7 and 9.
Good, nice.
Strive for 8.
That's 1 point. So you stretch your form roll at least 3 times a week for 15 minutes?
Generally, yes, but currently I'm suffering from slight pain in my right shoulder, clavicle specifically.
Way too much information, though. 3, you spend at least an hour per week by yourself detaching from society's fast pace of life.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. So that point. Do you have a negative outlook?
I try to be as positive as I can. So.
Very positive. Those are the happy things that you put into certain things and eat and smoke. Speaking of which, do you smoke cigarettes, tobacco, or marijuana?
I don't smoke cigarettes. In the past, I've been known to smoke marijuana.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So,
It's almost legal.
It's almost legal. but you know, it's for medical issues, so only if I have an injury or something.
Good, good. Do you have a hangover 2 times per month, or drink at least 2 nights a week?
I've had 1 or 2 hangovers in my life. I try not to live with that, but I have drank 1 or 2 times per week.
Okay. Are you easily frustrated or get angry like the Hulk?
No, I'm definitely no Hulk.
Okay. Well, I know that, but I'm saying you get angry.
It's good. I am wearing green though. No, I don't get angry. I'm very thankful for it.
Do you worry a lot?
I don't worry.
Okay.
And my anxiety, I'm like a walking Xanax.
Do you have low back pain?
My lower lumbar has been known to ache in the past, but currently I'm doing okay.
80% of Americans have low back pain. It's insane.
Like,
Sitting down like we're doing right now.
Is that the same number corresponding to weak glutes?
I mean, it would be very interesting
I have a nice butt,
to look at.
Peter.
Nice butt is not different from proper activation. I was working with someone actually today, and you can consider having a nice butt, but glute activation that cannot be optimal. So training that's really, really important. So do you have sex at least 3 times per week?
Absolutely.
Remember the next part. With yourself doesn't
With
count.
whom? Yeah.
If it was with myself, it'd be more than that.
You got 7
Am
on
I
that.
wrong? Let's be honest.
You got 7 on that one. So, are you currently on a diet? Or have you tried in the past 3 months and stopped?
No, I'm not on a diet.
Do you have cravings for sweet or salty foods more than 1 time per week?
Yeah, I like chocolate.
Okay. Do you eat at least 10 servings of fruits and vegetables per day?
10?
That's really a lot of servings. I don't think I'd get 10 in.
Is it a lot?
I mean, what is a serving necessarily? Because I only eat
An apple.
3 times a
Okay.
day. Oh, then, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
10, okay.
today I had 5 different vegetables.
Do you eat breakfast majority of the time?
Yeah, almost every day I have to
Do
get
you win the week, as in 4 days a week, do you eat naturally grown foods?
Yes.
Okay. Do you drink at least a glass of water?
Actually, I've been getting better about that, but I don't know if I'm exactly at optimum 8.
Okay. Do you have fast food more than 4 times a month?
I don't really eat
Okay.
that.
Do you drink soda?
I don't know.
No. Do you eat cereal, bread, tortillas, chips,
I
or
don't eat
rice?
cereal. I don't eat a lot of corn because we don't digest it properly.
That's okay.
But it's true, we don't.
Do you have a designated cheat day at least once per week?
I've been known to eat In-N-Out burger occasionally.
Okay. So we got 5 on that one. So nutrition is 5, we're at 12 right now. Last but not least, we have exercise. You exercise 4 times a week.
What about injury?
Okay.
Anymore?
Does cardio make up more than 50% of your exercise?
I don't like cardio.
Good. You spend more than 15 minutes per week isolating your abs.
Of course.
Okay. Can you do 10 push-ups? Yeah, you're good.
Way
Can
more.
you do, for the girls, can you do 1 chin-up?
Are you kidding me? I can do a bunch of chips.
Do machines or bodyweight exercise make up more than 50% of your stuff?
No, I'm not Jason.
Do you perform resistance training?
Oh!
Do you watch more than an hour of TV per day? Do you watch more than an hour of TV per day?
No, not generally.
Okay. And do you watch, can you touch your hands behind your back if you're
Yeah.
like that? And do you do resistance on your legs twice per week?
I claim leg injury, but honestly, no.
So that was 8, that was nice, so 8, total of 20. Sounds really, really good.
I mean, I have
I'm
really bad
gonna give you a
injury.
high five.
I'll
It's a
take
good
it.
job.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe I'll give you a hug afterwards.
I'll take a hug.
I'll have you take a seat. I'm actually gonna,
Cheers, too.
I'm gonna have you just go sit and just get out of here. I'm gonna keep
For God's sakes, get out of here.
He's done seeing me, man. Really? You're taking my chair?
So,
Go stand up.
20 on the score. 20 on the S.P.I.N.E score, which is really good. For my book, the subjects, the average score is between 8 to 10. And, you know, not sleeping, not moving very well, potentially exercising hard and dieting really, really hard may not be optimal form. So this is the questionnaire that essentially I can use to see the likelihood of fat loss form. So, are you guys ready for the next one? So really, keep your clothes on, don't throw anything at me because this is a badass boat example. I've been waiting to use this live. There we go. And a little side note, I have to give credit where credit's due. The book titled The Vulgar Truth Diet. It's not a diet. It's actually a plan. It's a lifestyle modification. And I actually stole that from the Tita brothers. They're 2 NDs who are super, super intelligent. And their book, The Metabolic Effect Diet, is a ploy just so people will buy it. So if you see diet, you want to buy it. Hence the Vulgar Truth Diet. People are going to be more intrigued by it. We've got a boat. We're going to be a guy or girl today. What do you want, guys? What do you want to be?
I know you want to be a girl, Chris.
Okay, we're going to be a female. So take my guy out. Jace's boat would be right here. he would be ready to go. He'd be ready to take off. This is the fat loss boat. We're in a war against fat right now. And this boat symbolizes a perfect body ready to take off and start losing weight. That would be someone like Jace. Let's take a look at someone whose spine is a little jacked up. Don't like your job. Who here doesn't like their job? Okay. You don't sleep 8 hours. Who here doesn't sleep 8 hours? Okay. You stress a lot. And stress is a relative word. Where you could be sitting in traffic, so your hand's still up. So people are still saying, no, that's okay. I'm saying that people could be sitting in traffic, and inside the fight or flight response is still working. You're releasing a lot of catecholamines, you're releasing cortisol. Inside, stress in the car is the equivalent of a cave person seeing a freaking Wolverine. Wolverine? No, screw it. Wolverine was alive back then, he was messing people up. You freak out. You fight or you flight. You sprint or you fight. That same internal mechanism is happening when we're in traffic, when we're worried about someone coming home late, when we break up with a girlfriend or husband, or a boyfriend, yeah. If we're, what are some other good stresses we have? Anyone?
Money issues.
Dead
Money issues, debt.
No, sir.
No, sir. So we start having all of these things that happen, and so,
No snow.
there you go. We have not sleeping enough,
No money.
financial stress. Your husband is annoying. Last but not least, we're eating a ton of processed foods with a lot of grains, and we're not allowing our body to optimally recover. And what happens? The boat sinks. The boat not only sinks, it's not prepared to take off. And so you have a normal client. This is what it is. It's chaos. New Year's coming up. They want to start losing weight. They get a diet book. The diet book tells them to do what? Eat less, exercise a lot. The equation isn't there. 3-4 weeks into the program, what happens? They fail. They put more weight on. Say, screw this life. It sucks. I'm eating peas and carrots. Can't drink. I'm the boring person. Life sucks. And I'm starting to gain weight. My face is fat now. So if you take an approach that's a little more holistic, let's see if you guys get wet. If you take an approach that's a little more holistic by addressing the spine, you can essentially start moving those marbles and setting people up for success. Okay, that was a badass boat analogy, wasn't it?
Gotta get a new boat.
Gotta get a new boat.
Yeah, it's easier, man.
Boat's big.
That thing doesn't sink.
Huh? It sunk when we did it.
Must be Boston Oil.
Punch boats in the face.
Mastercraft.
Punch boat, no
First,
back.
first part of the S, sex. Everyone's favorite. It's a great stress reliever. You release some great neurohormones, oxytocin, vasopressin. When in doubt, train your glutes, tighten your core, have more sex. Those are the 3 things I always tell people. In my book, I suggest having sex at least 3 times a week.
My favorite.
Increases it helps with your serotonin levels as well. There's a really great book out there, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and maybe flip-flop.
Good book.
I'll talk about Mr. Carnegie a little bit later.
Good book.
But in his book, he talks a lot about courting his wife. It's kind of cute. He constantly says, you know, we've been married for 30 plus years, and I'm constantly courting her. It's a courtship where you're making each other feel passionate. See, the married couple's fighting already back there. When the hell was the last time you courted me, asshole? I saw that.
What just happened, man?
I got someone in trouble, see? That's not the purpose. That's not the purpose. But when you lose that fire, when you lose that passion, then the sex goes down, and then all of a sudden it's war against each other. And so so my challenge to you guys is try something new and fun. I remember this is how weird my family is. Every year my mom gets us a sex calendar.
Love it.
And the sex calendar is just every day it's a new position, you take it off, and mom's always laughing, oh, look at that one.
365 days of
So
Kama
fun.
Sutra. It's one of my favorite calendars.
Lots of those ones, so sex is important, and as I'll talk later on when I look at the future with my book and the plan is, I want to have professionals in each designated area. Yes, I'm a professional in sex, but not my When it comes to like a sex therapist, that's someone who I would be seeking out to write a chapter about that. I saw today a lot of fitness professionals, they get very egotistical, they want to cover everything. I can talk about injuries, I can talk about exercise and nutrition. I know a decent amount of stuff when it comes to the body, but I also know my weaknesses. And when it comes to psychology, when it comes to injuries, I want to have a professional come in and write with me and say, this is what the facts are, and support the things that I'm saying. So that's what the future has for the Vulgar Truth Diet 2. Stress. You don't know who Jean Clement was. 123 years old, oldest living female ever. Talked about this in class a little bit, but something that she did till she's in her hundreds was smoke cigarettes. She ate cake all the time. She didn't exercise regularly. What the hell? Her goat analogy for me doesn't make any sense at all. What's the secret missing right there?
No stress.
No stress.
Stress-free.
Why didn't she have stress?
Wealthy.
Rich.
She was smart, very, very smart. A dream woman because she married rich. And she married so rich, she never had to work a day in her life. When she turned 18, she found a guy who owned all these apartments, married him, lived to be 123 years old. Never had to work a day in her life. Most of us right now are stressing over work and money and stuff. Imagine if you took that whole entire factor out. It's pretty big. We've heard about Jack LaLanne. He lived almost to be 100. They said he probably could have lived to be a lot older, but the guy was very, very arrogant, and he didn't want to stop exercising when he had pneumonia. He literally, on his deathbed, was trying to work out, doing push-ups and stuff. And I give the guy a lot of credit, that's awesome, but he essentially killed himself. Fight or flight with the catecholamines. What happens there, like I just talked about earlier, your body's in a constant state of denial and fear. And so what happens is we need to learn to detach a little more. And there was a great little study that just came out recently in a very large journal, talked about 27 minutes a day listening to just basic nature sounds, beach stuff, is going to help significantly decrease your stress levels. That's not very much. That could be driving to work, listening to the sound of the beach. So, again, every 15 minutes, hypoxia can set in. And hypoxia is the lack of oxygen to your glutes. So I'm just going to do one more quick little stand up to get some oxygen into your head and your brain. And this is actually, now that I thought about it right at this second, this is a horrible thing to do. I shouldn't have you guys do this, but so be careful doing this. We're going to do a one-leg balance test. I say that because some of us may have been drinking. But we should be able to stand on one leg for 30 seconds. And there's a well-known doctor out there that has a theory and a practice, and he says if you can stand up for 30 seconds on one leg, significantly greater chance to live to be over 100. So give that a shot, one leg. Just standing here. See, start tapping that foot down. But here's the challenging part. It's not just like this, it's with your eyes closed. So give your eyes a shimmer. I'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good. We're coming over, baby.
30 seconds.
Here's a
Pretty tough.
That's right.
You want to give the other one a shot, give your other leg a sign? But I'll just kind of finish up this last one. My phone to you with stress is try to detach for 27 minutes a day. Go for a walk. Don't bring your phone. We have these damn electrical leashes that wherever we go, we're constantly looking at our phone. Take a seat. I remember interviewing with the girl who was stressed out over her life. Jason, you want to come back here and sit down?
You need me again?
No, just if you want to sit down with her.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's cool, man. I like this thing.
Yeah, well, awesome compliments. She would check her emails and her text messages during the sessions. And so we're constantly spending a lot of energy into our phones. Here's some supplements that you can look into. I'm not going to go over those much now. But these are some things that can help potentially decrease your stress levels. Some of my favorite, we have some chamomile tea, maca. You know what maca is?
Yes, I do.
Of course you
For
do.
higher
It's a,
libido.
it's a natural.
Hey, maca gives you sexual stamina. Don't call it some hippie shit. It's on top.
Whoa! It does help with sexual stamina. It's supposed to increase your heart rate and your brain activity. So if you are having trouble in that area, check some maca out and you'll be nice and happy downstairs. So, next one, sleep. Restoration of cells, what takes place during sleep. You'll see there's a great little chart right here. You should be trying to get into stage 4, which does kick in pretty quickly, but 55 hours a week. That's an average about 7.8 hours per night. Can you get by with less? Yes, you can, but it doesn't mean you should try. So if you maybe sleep 6 during the week, try to have a couple 9 or 10 hour weekend sleeping days. Yeah?
Does fasting kind of counteract some of that?
The sleep?
Yeah.
No. So sleep, I mean, and you can get into whole, it's referred to body hacking, and there's people out there that look at the Einsteins and the Van Goghs who have got by on 3 to 4 15-minute naps, and they're notorious for being able to do that. But fasting does not offset the effects of the lack of sleep. It increases testosterone. Testosterone will also be increased by exercising. Talk about red meat, which helps increase your testosterone levels. Zinc as well. Sleep is how do I get there? I'm not quite sure. But sleep is really, really important, and we're missing out on it. So some things that you can do to help sleep better: get rid of the lights. Get rid of your TV, your cell phones. Try to avoid the blue light. Blue light's what screws it. You can actually download apps as well. And you can take out, what's that?
Have more sex.
I'm always a big fan of having more sex right before you go to sleep. That helps offset everything. ZMA is zinc and magnesium. Magnesium is one of the most deficient minerals in the body. And when we take some of those supplements, you can also find like oysters and stuff. It helps restore your natural magnesium levels. Be careful with caffeine. The half-life of caffeine is about 6 to 8 hours. Therefore, you could be, I had some caffeine at 6. It's not really going to be out of my body until at least 12 to 2 a.m. the next day. Read before bed, not on your phone. 1 to 2 people. I talk about education a lot. And if you read just 1 to 2 pages a day in a textbook, that equates to 1 to 2 textbooks a year. Just from reading 1 to 2 pages. It's not that much. So try to read before. I put textbooks in there because who in here honestly gets super excited about reading textbooks? Most people read when they pass out. So use that as a mode to get you to sleep, and then by the end of the year you have 1 or 2 books under your belt. Psychology, this is one of my favorites. This is something that my dad helped me with. He is a shrink, that's why I'm crazy. There's a couple things over here. You look at the infamous, it's a fan, it's a wall, it's a rope, it's a tree. 6 different perspectives. And I put that on here because people today, they try a diet and they fail and they blame the diet. They try another diet and they fail and they blame the diet. And they try the magnificent Joe Green diet and you're eating green tea and leaves and they succeed on it and they say the diet's awesome. But did they really succeed because the diet was great or their mindset was right? So the mindset and the psychology behind your actions is huge. How many people have hung out with someone who's a Debbie Downer and left super, super energetic? No, and you're like, oh shit, they're texting me. I don't want to hang out with them. Oh, this person's boring, they bring me down, it's negative. So when you're around those people more, your disposition is going to change. There's a great scene in Sarah Marshall, forgetting Sarah Marshall, and they're out on the surfboard, and Paul Rudd, he has this analogy about, getting lemons in life. We've all heard you get lemons, and he says, you know what, fuck it. Make lemonade, get some whiskey, and have a party. I thought that just the way that he's taken that perspective is really, really neat, where essentially you give it bad things in life and you take the best from it. You need to be a lot more optimistic. Because we are against the war against fat. And the little boat analogy that I had up here, I feel that today we're like the guy on the left. And the guy on the left is naked. And we're not prepared for success, for fat loss. New Year's comes in, we think we need to run more, we need to do more jumping, we need to do more inappropriate exercising. And what happens is we just sink our boat. My military guys could probably help me out with what the hell this guy has on him, but this guy looks pretty unprepared. He has a freaking machine gun there, gas mask, underwater stuff, knives. This guy's prepared. He's ready for battle and the sand and the snow and the water. This guy's everything. We need to be more prepared for fat loss. So taking a more educated approach, taking a questionnaire to find out where your weaknesses are to help you get to where you want to be. Whatever you need to get motivated, whether if you need to go see a shrink, go talk to my dad, that's fine. Go listen to Tony Robbins. Whatever works for you to get your mind right. But something that exercise does do, it increases your self-confidence. You gotta be careful with cocky. Because cocky's not good. You don't want to be that guy walking around, lifting up your abs in the mirror. That guy's just a tool. You need to be confident. Or the word that I made up,
Cocking it.
Cocky. That's a good one. Cocky. You're cocky, but you're confident.
That's
in the middle.
dangerously close to some internet stuff that you.
But don't type that in there. I want some cocky today. No, that's not.
Manfidence.
There you go. I like that.
That's good too.
Let's look at some injuries. The eye portion of the spine. From sitting at a desk all day, we have this, which is called upper cross syndrome. From sitting down all day, we can get this little wink, and this is referred to as lower cross syndrome. And then when our glutes are weak and our knees buckle in, this is referred to as pronation distortion syndrome. I was talking to a girl just the other night, and she was texting on her phone. It was the earphone. It was funny. She would
I was checking my email, bro.
God, is that, she was texting like this. And if you look at the mechanism from behind, you're in a scared state and you're texting and you're all hunkered down. This is a state of fear. And you, not only is your body potentially releasing cortisol and stuff, but now you're hunched over, your back's going to get jacked up. You have something referred to as the pelvo-ocular reflex, where your pelvis wants to get under your head. So when I'm forward, my pelvis naturally wants to come under it to support it. So you get this arch and your body is just in this scared, fearful position, not allowing it to optimize fat loss. So what do you need to do? You need to invest in the show fitness lacrosse ball. But you should look at getting some lacrosse ball, foam roller, get something to get into those areas and start getting out some of that tension. So you address what's referred to as the adhesions, you break it up, get oxygen in there, and you start moving more. So if you do work at a desk, get into your pec minor. Your pec minor is a spot right here, and you just push really, really hard, hold it for 30 seconds, release, get some good blood flow in there. You can get into your infraspinatus back here, which is also a trigger's point. Hold that sucker for 30 seconds, release, get some good blood flow in there. You can do like a lat stretch. Lat stretch is here. Challenge you to hold this if you're sitting at a desk, just hold this for 5 minutes a day. Watch TV right before you leave, just hang out here. 5 minutes. If you want to do one, get that stretch, do the other. 5 minutes. I say 5 minutes because most people stretch like this. I say, I want you to stretch for 30 seconds. I say, okay. Ooh, that was good. That was my 30 seconds. How the hell was that 30 seconds? That wasn't even close. So if you tell someone to hold for 5 minutes, the likelihood of them holding for about 2 is what I like. And studies have shown that 2 minutes is optimal to start restoring some of that weight. The couch stretch is your infamous. You just put your leg back here, you lean into it, hold this. It helps with your psoas major, which is usually a really tight muscle. Watch it. Commercial, 5 minutes. Switch. Do this one for 5 minutes. Next stretch, your upper traps. From here. Come there. Hold there for 5 minutes. Be careful. Last one's one of my favorite ones. This is your adductor stretch that you can do in bed. Now, everyone lays in bed before. Most of us are on our phones. So what you do, they call us in yoga the happy baby. What do they call us?
Yeah, happy baby.
Happy baby. So what we do
Sort
is
of.
we're allowing the glutes to be in an optimal recruitment position, because this is referred to as this is referred to as external rotation as well as abduction. And what happens is my glutes are primed to fire. So I'm getting an adductor stretch here. What's that?
45 degrees?
Yeah, perfect. And so what you do now is you can do a little test to see how jacked up your glutes are. And you can squeeze them as hard as you can and push your feet in together and pay attention physiologically what happens to your glutes. And a lot of times you will feel one glute higher than the other, or one won't be fired optimally. And this can teach you how to train. So if one glute raises up a little bit, that means that we have a unilateral deficiency. We need to be training our glutes individually. So do like floor bridges and stuff like that. Challenge you to do some type of yoga class or foam roll for 5 minutes. You're doing great. You're doing really, really good. We just got about 3 more slides to go over, and then we can go do some weird stuff back there with some alcohol and some
Face mask.
Now, nutrition. Now, I'm a big advocate of exercising more so you can kind of hold back on the nutrition aspect. I talk in my book a lot about winning the week. And what I mean by that is think of it like a sports series. Basketball, baseball, 7 games in the series. How do you win the series?
4 out of 7.
You win 4 games. If you lose the first day, you don't eat very well on Monday, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Win Tuesday, win Thursday, win Saturday, win Sunday. Win 4 days in the week. Too many times a day people look at the week. We do great on Monday, we exercise, we don't have any grains. Tuesday we do awesome. Wednesday some coworkers say, hey, let's go to Hooters. You're like, oh, you go there, you have some wings, you have a beer. Fuck it, screwing the whole entire week. I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want to, not exercise anymore, eating Hooters, everything. Hooters is on my mind. I want to get some of those wings.
Let's go to Hooters.
So, if you think of it more along the lines of winning the week, you could have three days that are bad in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's not over. Own it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Exercise, use weights, resistance, stretch more, go to classes. Don't focus so much on cardio, do more weight training, and you're going to make your system a lot more efficient. Now, when I talk about my book, some people may definitely get a little upset over, but I say no grains. And are there a role in grains in our society? I believe there are. And who is it for? Back to Ben Gordon on the front. Guys that are exercising all the time. Grains are a really, really efficient fuel source. They're fueling the system to do work. Most Americans, 70% of us, don't need to do work because we're fat, we're not moving. So we're eating so much, giving us more fuel to do nothing. So if you take grains out, I'm not saying go on some hippy-dippy diet, I'm saying replace them with fruits and vegetables. And fruits and vegetables are very, very high in antioxidants. They're going to help de-inflame our body, make us more neutral. And then by exercising, we can offset a lot of the bad stuff that was done to it. Yeah, you can have a little bit of decreased energy in the beginning, but riddle me this. Imagine if we took out all grains and rice, quinoa, breads, and you replaced all of those grains with fruits and vegetables. Even if they're not organic, pesticides are going to kill. I would be very intrigued to see what would happen to the body if we took all the grains out and replaced them with fruits and vegetables, even like I said, even if they weren't organic. Fiber is beneficial in grains, and so I see both sides of it. I do talk in my book a little bit about nutrient timing, which will be changed in the second verse, because the second part of it, because of the recent research that's come out, and maybe nutrient timing isn't what we used to think it was. And I think that's really important as a fitness professional to keep up with the trends. When stuff is presented to you and it's scientifically backed, you need to look at your viewpoint and see if the stance that you originally taught was optimal. And in my case in this, I was maybe not, I still believe in it, but maybe we don't have to focus so much on that timing aspect. Interesting little anecdote from a registered dietitian. He was in a group of about 50 people, and he said, all 65 of them, he said, how many people in here, when you grew up, you had bacon, eggs, sausage, and ham and stuff like that for breakfast? Every single person's hand went up. And he said, please raise your hand if you knew someone who had diabetes or had some type of coronary artery disease. Every single person kept their hand up. So they were eating fat, they were eating bacon, they were eating devil food, but people weren't having all these problems, which you can start kind of thinking maybe the government is in on it, saying that maybe we should eat more grains. Causes more people to get sick, pharmaceutical companies, who knows? So my challenge to you is to try to take eliminate grains. And so the first week I say take out, don't have grains past 7. Second week I say don't have grains past lunch. Third week don't have grains past breakfast. Fourth week you're grain free. I challenge you to have one extra fruit, one extra vegetable per day per week. So at the end of the month you're having now close to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. I'm more of a slow progression type of guy than all or nothing. So if you can't get rid of the grains, choose them at more opportunistic times. And when would be a great time to implement grains?
Right after weightlifting.
Right after weightlifting. So go do some heavy deadlifting, heavy squats, some pull-ups, some push-ups, then go have some of your grains. You earned it. Exercise. This is a famous picture of a PE teacher in Ohio. What he did was ate McDonald's for 90 days, and he lost over 60 pounds. What the hell?
Must have for salad.
What he did is he monitored his caloric intake. When the average American is getting close to 3,700 calories, he just reduced it down to a range that worked for him, and he started exercising regularly and he started losing weight. Again, it just shows you that exercising is really, really important. Why are we focusing so much on the nutrition side when we can exercise hard and more efficient? Again, maybe another conspiracy there. How much money does the government make off of suggesting you guys to exercise? No. We have the cure to obesity, we have the cure to cancers, we have a cure to a lot of this stuff by exercising more, lifting weights, moving the body more efficiently, but yet we're still trying to find an answer with diet. So I talk about these rep ranges, and so 6 equals 85, that means, no it doesn't, I don't know where I came from. That would be, yeah, it is, that's right. 6 to 85, if you do 6 reps, that's roughly 85% of your 1 rep max. You do 10 reps, that's roughly 75%. 15 is 65%. 20 reps equals 50%. It's a percentage. So look at where you lift when you're in the gym. If I go to the gym and I do 20 reps, you're doing 50%. You just did 50%. You got 50% on exam. That's really good. You failed. What we need to start doing is lifting heavier. And students and I have creatively come out with my new favorite word, the bulk fairy. Girls literally think that you lift a weight, lift some heavy weight over here, and all of a sudden the bulk fairy's gonna show up and she's gonna bite you, and all of a sudden you turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger the next day. It doesn't happen like that. You need to be injecting stuff into your butt to get big and bulky like that. So it's tough as a female looking in these magazines thinking that you can attain their body types by doing their same workouts, because it doesn't equate. If you're doing 15 to 20 repetitions all the time, you're essentially not taxing or maximizing your body's potential. You're doing 50% of what it wants to do. I'm not saying max it out all the time, I'm saying live smarter. And I talk about that in my book on how you can implement optimal exercise programs, but you'll need to go online and buy it to find out. If you're a beginner, do 3 sets of 12. Have your weight, implement some cardio after your workouts because you depleted all your muscle glycogen, and then you can maximize fat loss. If you're moderate, means you've been working out for longer than a month, go into 4 sets of 10, start implementing some higher intense interval stuff. If you're more advanced, so you've been working out 2 to 3 months, I would suggest doing 5 sets of roughly 8 to 10 reps, and then implement some Tabata training. Tabata training would be like hitting this sucker as hard as you can for 20 seconds, wait for 10, and go into 20. Wait for 10, do 8 sets of that. Very, very high intense and challenging, not that much cardio though. It's really taxing the heart, making it stronger, but you're not doing the long, steady state stuff. Here's a chart that I have that I give to all my readers when they get the book, and I talk about winning the week. So each week, give yourself a nutrition goal, give yourself an exercise goal, give yourself a spine goal. So no more hand. Go find a girlfriend. Find a good girl. Quality girl.
Hey.
When did Rosie Ponce family?
So focus on something where your spine is weak. Maybe your stress levels are high, maybe your sleep is low. Start trying to win the week with sleeping more, stressing less. And then you can have a little chart that can show you that, hey, I won this week, good job. Then you can give yourself a little reward. You can give yourself some whiskey. There you go.
Drink more whiskey.
So last but not least, I want to summarize the Vulgar Truth Diet. Most importantly, you gotta show up. That's the most important thing. Show up 4 times a week, and you're setting yourself up for success. Work out smarter, not harder. You want to do multi-jointed stuff over single-jointed stuff. Stop isolating stuff, unless you're a bodybuilder. This isn't going to get you buns of steel. You need to be squatting. This isn't going to tone up and sexify your arms. You need to be doing push-ups. You need to be doing pull-ups. You need to be doing squats. That's going to maximize a body like this girl has over here. I guarantee you she squats and hip thrust heavy.
Hip thrust.
Sprints over running. I'm a big advocate. Who here likes to run? 2 people. 3 people. 3 people should only be running in here. Huh?
I like sprinting
Okay.
too.
If you like to run, then run. Nothing against running. If you don't like to run, don't run. We're not made to run. A lot of repetitions on the body, it's a lot of wear and tear. I'm never going to tell someone to stop doing something they like. If you like it, do it, but don't force people to do other things that they don't need to be doing. And especially if we're 70% overweight, do you think the body's really meant and ready like that guy was on all that and the war equipment to prepare for that run? We're not ready yet. Excess post-oxygen consumption takes place when you do resistance training as well as sprinting, so I prefer doing that, work your way up to it. Detach more, sleep more. Those are things that are really important to maximize fat loss. Have more sex, obviously. How many books have you talked about with fitness that encourage more sex? Not that much. So you gotta see, it's not out there, huh?
Not out there.
It's next gen, man.
I've read everything
That's
already.
a little twist
out
I
there.
put into it.
New school.
Do you really need grains? That's where I'll challenge you. If you love grains, have them, but take them out some days. Monday through Friday,
3
on
4
the
days a
week,
week.
no grains. Saturday and Sunday, have grains. I'm not against them. I just think we consume way too much of them. Replace them with fruits and vegetables, and you're going to look better, feel better, and move a lot better as well. Foam roll more easily. The flossing analogy I have, it's like flossing your teeth. If you haven't foam roll, like the first time you floss, what happens?
You bleed.
You're bleeding all over the place. It's a nasty situation. When you foam roll, it hurts like holy hell. Your muscles haven't had the ability to kind of push out stuff that's developing in them, immobility problems. So work on that. Optimize your spine, that's the biggest thing. And like I said, I am working on a second portion of it, the Vulgar Truth Diet 2. And my pitch behind this one is going to be having professionals for each part of the spine. And so I'll be dictating the direction of everything, but then I'm gonna have a professional person's viewpoint on the side. So my dad would talk about psychological stuff and how you can implement strategies from their perspective to help you get to where you wanna be. From the fitness side, that's where I'll talk about that, but the physical therapist talking about maybe you have a more serious condition, thoracic outlet syndrome, let's address that. They can give you some pointers for it.
Want to sign copy?
And last but not least is my little infomercial pitch. So, how does this sound? Who would like to feel better, look amazing naked, have amazing sex, live longer, perform better, decrease pain, and be constantly happy? Sounds pretty good, right? Well, it's not a pitch. That's the Vulgar truth side. There you go.
I like it.
Huh?